Episode, right?
All right, we're back for part 4 of this podcast, and we're gonna go back to this to episode 26, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna wrap this up.
I think that's how we should wrap it up. It's actually talking about the show. This is the last episode of Gundam Show for who knows when the next one's gonna air.
That's true.
Because there's no talk about another show coming out anytime soon, right?
I don't think so.
The next one's the Battle Lock, but that's November, and that's just a small thing.
Yeah.
So what do we have to look forward to? We got Hathaway's Flash coming up, and then I don't think there's no Gundam in the works currently, and
nothing.
Yeah,
I'm still just looking forward to Double O Virtue Teriyaki or Natalie MG. Eventual release. But other than that, it's not very you can't really forecast what's about to come. Especially with COVID still.
Apparently Steven can because he has a spreadsheet.
Steven, what's coming out?
Steven, tell us the future, Steven, with your spreadsheet.
No. I can't. I don't have that kind of power. There's no zero. There's no
he doesn't want to spoil it yet.
Yeah, he doesn't want to spoil the rest of us.
Yeah, there's no zero system
he
here.
knows what's coming.
He knows.
No, Stanley probably knows more than we do.
That's true. Stanley has inside knowledge.
Yeah, but we cannot ask him about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got some NDA stuff.
Oh, okay. He's got to be honest with his work. I understand.
So here's how I normally predict things. I usually say, so this is the secret sauce. So the secret sauce is I look at anniversaries. Bandai's always going to want to sell a model kit or a design on its anniversary.
Okay.
So next year's gonna be 2021. What kits came out 5-10 years ago?
I don't know. What was
or
the
maybe
airing?
15?
2011
was it Age?
Ooh.
Just in time. Yo, kill ya. I see you, kill ya.
And so
here.
So you want to think about that, and then you want to think about what kits currently exist that they can make like a mold, not improve, but like they can recycle a mold from. Like what's a really popular
H2
design?
Magnum Master Grade, they can re-spec it to H2 and give it the good shoulders.
Or not to update it, but
I feel like
Hey Stanley, can you turn up your mic?
Yeah, I can't hear you very well, Stanley.
sorry, is that better?
Yeah, better.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, way better.
All right. This is how I see it. Is that normally with anniversaries, they normally bring out kits that you haven't seen. Like maybe this year we might finally see Age 3 or Age FX because remember those are showing off, never happened, and we're like, where is it?
Well, so Age 3 is technically supposed to be based off Double Zeta, right? Like that's the homage for it.
Yeah.
And we got the Double Zeta Vercall a couple years ago, which everybody loved. So what if they take that kit? I know that they're not the exact same one-offs of each other. What if they take the engineering from that kit and put it into Age 3 Master Grade? I would buy that because I actually love the Age 3.
They could, but I think how the Age 3 is design-wise with the extra parts and stuff, I don't think it would work that well personally from what I see. I do hope it gets made, of course, because my goal is every Master Grade, lead Gundam, hopefully one day, but
one day
you never know.
I mean, Age FX would be cool to have too as a Master Grade.
That would be very cool. I am actually looking maybe they do some of the weird variants. Maybe might get a full glance at maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Because you already have that base kit. So the best thing to do is to look actually at the high grade lines. Look at the high grade lines and see what exists already, and what they've turned into P band. And from there we can kind of imagine a little bit more. So Walter actually gave me a really good tip on the market in Japan. And I'm not sure if anybody checked out the Gundam versus Japan or Journey to Japan podcast that I released. But Walter is actually one of our really good friends who lives in Japan and gave me really good tips on the culture there and how Gundam is in general. And he says that because there's so much manga and content that get pumped out, and a lot of the stuff is about grunt suits, and like normal people in the war, you have a lot of people who really like just the grunts. That's why you see crazy iterations of like the Zakus, of the Jims, of the Goofs, of the like everything, right? But you don't really see any of the main suits being like recreated because those are like a dime a dozen. You can get those anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, so for example, you're probably going to see a lot more of the Gundam Seed Destiny Zaku's probably come out. Because we already know, actually, my spreadsheet that I do my own like purchases, I know that Seed and Unicorn are really popular.
Oh yeah.
Like very, very popular.
In Japan, don't Kira and Lacus like still score like the top 10? Like
every
year?
I think so.
In the new type magazine, like they're always in it. Like it's been how many years since Seed came out, and they're still in the top 10 every time.
2007.
It's been almost 20 years, I think.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it's 2003, 2004. So but 16 years. So good job, Kira.
Yeah.
Doing us proud.
Wait, now that you reminded me, didn't TM Revolution say that like the Seed movie was like a go or something?
I don't
during one of his
recall that.
concerts.
I'm not sure.
Gosh, like I heard it somewhere. I might have to look, but I heard that. I don't know how true it was, but I heard of that one.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah,
but
that'd be
because when you said Zaku, I was like, because then they did promise a movie, right? I heard them talking about a movie, wanting to make a movie.
I thought there was a
never
Seed
pushed it for some
movie.
reason.
They were planning to do one, but unfortunately, I think the writer got sick. I think she passed away. I don't remember. I know one of the people in charge of it did pass away. Unfortunately, Double O did take the title of getting first Gundam movie in a while.
Yeah.
Awakening.
Yeah, and like there's a couple of things about Seed that we'd have to really discuss. So I have another friend, Yuki. She loves Seed. Actually, that's how we bonded. And she knows that because of the falling out with the director, they're just not touching the Seed core show anymore. So that's why you only have a focus on the Astray line. So
that's interesting.
Because that's the only part of the property that they can actually really explore. So that's why they've been heavily marketing the Strays to convince public opinion that we want the Astray stuff, so they don't have to release any of the core Seed things anymore.
So you're telling me Gundam Seed Astray anime, I can get behind that. Besides the OVA, the quick episode OVAs, I mean actual full length of Low and
kind of
the Junk Guild, that would be amazing.
Yeah. So I think I forgot who I talked with this about, but the whole point about Gundam is so that you can, or the Gundam anime is so that you can sell toys, right? Yeah. If the toys sell, you don't need to put in extra money in order to
make an anime
to sell it, right? So because we've seen such a resounding, demand for Astray stuff, there's almost no way that Bandai or Sunrise will create an Astray.
All right, so everybody, stop buying Astray stuff.
Exactly. Stop buying Astray stuff and we'll get stuff. And we'll get our anime.
Get an anime. Oh, Crossbone anime. Yeah, that's the one everybody wants.
So stop buying Crossbone stuff, and we can finally get our anime.
God damn it! It's only been
the answer the whole time.
Yeah, that's been the answer. It's all your fault. This is why we can't have nice things, because we keep buying stuff.
Stop giving Bandai your hard-earned money for kits so they can make some goddamn anime for us.
Right. Okay, but anyway, other Gundam predictions, I don't really know. I mean, how much more can they really milk the unicorn? Like, give it a purple frame? I don't know.
Power Rangers, man.
Geez,
right?
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see something like that.
Honestly, I could go for another season of Divers, like in a couple years. Like, I don't even want a new cast. Like, I would love to see more of the Re-Rise cast, or even just more of both casts, the regular Divers and Re-Rise mingling more together.
Unless they go far into the future where L Divers are a thing now.
L Divers just rule the world.
Yeah.
God.
They're just all of the GBN network is just L Divers. They're like, get out of here, human. You don't belong here.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think they might, because I think Gundam has really, or at least Sunrise and Bandai, they've recognized that the build fighter try divers formula works really well for selling kits.
Yeah.
And they're not going to let that go. They're going to keep on trying to create more shows in this timeline, or at least in this
universe.
Universe, right? So that they can sell more stuff.
Yeah.
Because the action Gundam shows are really not working anymore. The war shows are not really selling very well.
Not like they used to. Yeah. Like we had this discussion the other night at dinner about IBO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I agree with you, Steven. I think IBO wasn't as popular as, let's say, Build Fighters. I think Build Fighters had a much bigger following than IBO did.
It was
and IBO is a main core Gundam series.
Yeah.
I would like to actually input my saying, only because I work in a store, so I can give you my what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Build Fighters came out, and this is when I first started working, I saw a huge influx of people. Like, it definitely brought in a lot of people into it.
Mm-hmm.
What IBO did, actually, I would go as far, and you guys can hit me on this, or other people will eventually, I would call it the second wing of the US.
Yes.
Because IBO was actually
super
successful here in the US.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, looking around at, like, Target and stuff, Hobby Lobby, you're seeing Barbados pop up on shelves now.
Yeah.
But do you also take into account that it's because the IBO kits were at a cheaper price point too?
I would definitely say it's part of the cheaper one, but I think a lot of people also said it was a very different take on Gundam. Like, gone with the laser beams. It's all like close combat, and I think a lot of people like that. Obviously, I don't think it got the need to like push Gundam further again. Unfortunately, I feel like a lot of people that want to get into Gundam get afraid of it because of the long history it has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of like what I was saying at one of our dinners, that IBO is actually Sunny's like favorite Gundam series because she doesn't need all that background information. She can start from episode 1, finish episode 50, and then she's all done. But this was actually a very interesting conversation that I talked with Gabe and Sunny. We met up for a little bit, and I basically told them that my theory is that American anime fans are very weird.
We are very weird, unfortunately.
So 100% accurate.
So a lot of it is because I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this too. Kind of like how Stanley got a lot of hate for Wing.
Preach it, man. Preach it.
American fans love violence. They don't actually like the story of Gundam. They only like seeing death, destruction, violence, and killing. If you think about the most popular, if you think about most popular Gundam series, it's Wing, Double O, and I guess now IBO, which falls consistent with this theory that the more action scenes, the more blood and gore, the more fighting there is, then the more the American audiences are going to like it. One of the reasons why they don't like Gundam Seed or Age is because of the pacifist nature of the main characters towards the end. But what they fall in love with, if you think about it, are all of the main characters who are terrorists.
Yeah. No, it's accurate.
You're very true about that. Yeah.
Yes.
And so it shows a deeper, more troubling social and conscious issue with American fans.
The way I take that for the American fans, not to interrupt you, I'm sorry, but I think it's because Americans are so instilled in the revolution, so they look at it as it's this underdog terrorist group fighting the big, powerhouse and winning, and for the most time, except IBO, but most times they're winning. And
sorry, spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen the end of IBO yet.
Hey, they all deserved it. I'm just throwing that out there.
But,
they made their choices.
Exactly, they made their choices.
Yeah, but I completely agree, Dustin. And I thought it was very interesting to see, like, this is kind of the trend. So if it doesn't have people, shooting adults in the head or whatever, or, you don't see terrorists, like, blowing up buildings, or you don't see, like, armed organizations, like, wreaking havoc across the world, it's really not going to sell that much. And actually, I remember the New Type magazine talking about Gundam Double O, where they paid very special attention to the action scenes and the direction of how these fights were going to be choreographed. And so if you look at the way that the action scenes are done in Double O, they're very dynamic. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a lot of camera movement. There's a lot of stuff that you would normally see in, like, Hollywood action scenes.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that American fans can kind of relate to a lot better, because all we see are like, sniper movies, shoot 'em ups,
Yeah.
or like
John
I
Wick.
don't know. Yeah, John Wick.
John Wick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And that's
Well,
just part of the American culture.
it's just funny because Double O, even though the main characters they don't call themselves terrorists because they believe they're stopping war because they're fighting everybody. They're not picking a side and playing their flag. They're saying, hey, if you're in a battle, we're going to come and stop you from fighting because, we're against war in general, but we're going to use war to stop war. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And
it's the wheel, right? They're trying to break the wheel, but they're part of the wheel.
But if you think about it, that's a very American sentiment. We're
Exactly,
going to stop
yes.
war by building up our military
Exactly.
and having military bases throughout the world.
Especially having a stronger military, because that's the thing is the Double O suits were technology no one had besides celestial beings. So they were like this super advanced fighting unit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's really interesting to kind of think about. And it's another reason why there are so many people who, I think that is a factor of why so many people didn't like Awakening of the Trailblazer too.
Yeah, because it takes a more, like you said, a more pacifist ending.
Approach, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's like the whole core idea of Gundam. The whole core idea is that war is bad. Don't do it.
Yep.
Stop. Like, right?
Stop killing each other, please.
But then the fans are like, but we want more.
We
like,
want to.
Where's the dying?
We want to see these small children get in giant mechas and kill each other. That's what we're watching this anime
Why
for.
do you guys give the Gundams weapons then?
Right. Exactly. So yeah, I mean, and
but then you
I don't know.
But then you have like build divers and build fighters, which is super fun. And yes, there's violence, but it's every time there's violence, especially like in like the beginning stories, like when you meet like those main, rival characters, right? They always build like a camaraderie with each other, where it's like, hey, you're strong, I'm strong, we're both in the same thing. We respect each other, but we want to beat each other, but still be respectful about it. Like, look at the way like Sei and Reiji against, God, why can't I think of Meiji's full name?
Or
Tatsuya Yuki.
Tatsuya Yuki, yeah. Like the way you look at Yuki, like they have a respect for him, but at the same time they want to overcome him. But they want to be fair about it.
It is different, and that's why I'm really interested in that cultural shift in like 2014. There's a lot of things you can say about the Build Fighter series. The one that I would always say is that it's a free commercial, right? Like the purpose of
that's
Gundam,
the main point is to sell toys.
It's to sell toys, and this is the most blatant way where they can kind of like do tongue-in-cheek. Look, we're gonna sell you these toys, but we're not even gonna sugarcoat it anymore. Like, these are toys you want to buy.
Yeah,
like,
they're literally toys in the show.
They succeeded.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yeah. So they did really well.
Yep.
And I think they're kind of going through this new approach, like we were talking about in the other podcasts, that instead of focusing on issues of war, death, and family disagreements, now they're putting it more into a more like social aspect. So you're dealing now with things like bullying, with things like peer pressure, ideas of like depression, finding yourself, right? But just in a different context, more of like a sportsmanship type of context that's more relevant to the youth of our age.
So like for Hiruto in Re-Rise, right? Like his arc was overcoming the loss of Eve, right? Or was it Eve?
Yeah.
Or Eve? I always forget her name.
Eve. It's Eve.
Yeah. So like you don't really see that in other Gundam shows because he was the one who pulled the trigger on her, even though he knew she was an AI. Because you can see her glitching out and stuff.
Yeah.
So
actually, did he pull the trigger, or did she pull the trigger?
Pulled the trigger in the end.
I'm pretty sure he pulled it, didn't he?
She started it, and then Hiruto was the final push, I guess.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Because she told him to pull. She told him pretty much,
She wanted him to end her.
She wanted, exactly. She wanted him to be the one to do it, but he didn't know like the ramifications of what her dying would be, right? It would actually stabilize GBN and help save the world.
Yeah.
But and then like we go back to Kazumi's story of how he started off headstrong and only cared about the point and destroying other Gunpla to becoming this guy, to, like you said, the protector, the only one to take the shot instead of to fire a shot.
He became very humbled.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. So it's almost like they're showing not just the where before they were talking about this is a war, right?
Yeah.
This is war, and this is what's going to do to people. But now Gundam is showing protagonists and characters of, we know that you're in a really crappy situation, but what do we want our viewers to be like after the fact?
Yeah.
So instead of just being a political statement or like a satire that Tomino's really known for being, like he's really good at looking at society and saying, these things are bad. These things are really bad, and pointing them out, but then not really saying anything about them. But I think the new Gundam is really good at saying, like, this is what we want society to be like. And this is what you should be like. This is how you get out of your depression, or you get out of your idea of like not having a purpose, or like how to be humble, or like, how to break free of your insecurities, that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I would always, like, part of the story was, I don't think you find out more until later on when he talks to Freddy about how he's actually the crown prince, not Shala.
Yeah.
I thought it was weird at first. I'm like, okay, sure, I guess the young guy gets to be prince. But then his whole, he was paralyzed. He was afraid to fly. Even in a virtual world, he was afraid to fly, and having to overcome that to help his friends. Like, even R had a strong story.
And you have a lot of people who come from a variety of different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Like you have an outsider, you have a person who's, disabled, you have a person who's, relatively on a, like, I don't know, kind of like an outcast almost.
Yeah.
Social outcast.
And Hiruto would be a social outcast. I mean, he left Avalon after Eve's death.
Yeah.
Even the Avalon team, when they see him and they're like, what the hell, man? Like, why did you just leave? Like, why didn't you tell us what was going on? We would help you.
Yeah. They're very much focused on, in this show, on social interactions.
Yeah.
Build fighters, divers. And I think it's a really good thing. They're probably taking note a little bit more of like society in Japan, and they're trying to do their part to make people better people.
Yeah.
That's why I like Gundam.
Yeah.
So
same.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anything else about the episode or any other predictions?
Yes. So I remember when we talked about episode 25, you and me, the first time, and then when Brian joined, and Brian and Gabe joined our chat.
Yeah.
Remember, you had a really big deal about the way the dragon and Masaki talked to Alnus, and how it made him push over the edge for. Remember, because you thought he was going to be good, and then they talked to him and pushed him over. But has your opinion changed now, knowing that they did it because they wanted him to come to GBM so they could reset him as an L diver?
Kind of a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like their last plan. That was like their plan Z, right? And I think that was not what they wanted.
Last resort.
I think it happened to be that way, but they
didn't want to
risk.
So after watching it a couple times, I don't think they wanted him to stay as the protector of Eldor anymore, right? Because he obviously can't do that job anymore. He has to find something else to do.
Yeah.
So I think pushing him into GBN was always part of their plan, because that's why Maggie and all of them were set up and ready to go. That's why they had the Alliance rejoin. And then I don't know if Sarah and May knew that he could be reborn as an L diver. So they don't really explain that part too well.
I think it's kind of implied that they did.
Yeah.
Only because, like, when they found him as a baby, like, how would you go about finding him? So I think they had the idea.
Yeah, May knew where he was. So, and now we know that May is kind of the reincarnation of Eve with her, her armband. That's the earring.
Yeah.
So I was like, huh. I just wish they went into a little bit more detail on that. I feel like that was kind of rushed at the end.
Well, we'll find out more in, Gundam side stories and mangas and
True.
model kits and photo novels and
Yep.
whether
Stop it. My wallet doesn't want to pay all this money for stuff.
It's all right.
Gosh.
Toy Arena will help you out with all of your Gundam needs.
That's true.
Hey.
God, I really want 2020 to be over for so many reasons, but one of them is so we can go to cons again, so I can go to the con stores like Toy Arena and like all the other places that have the cool stuff you can see in person. So it's different than looking at it online. You look at it online, you're like, or you're holding it in your hand, you have it there, you're like, okay, I'm gonna buy this now. I'm gonna buy this now.
I mean, do you want? Oh, never mind. Let's go again. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. But
Sons? Wait, what? No.
No. But I don't really tell too many people about this, but I've actually had dreams in the last like 3 or 4 months about going to conventions.
Same, dude.
Like I'll wake up and I'll remember my dream, and my dream is usually like us, either being at like stuff like Fangia or Comic-Con or Anime Expo or WonderCon, and just like reliving those days where we could all be together and hang out and nerd out together.
So
and it hurts.
It does.
This past weekend, actually, the one we just had, if COVID wasn't a thing, I would have been at the Power Morphicon convention.
Oh,
the Power Rangers convention, which is
was it actually this year?
It would have been this year.
Oh,
yeah, it's
no.
always because it's a bi-yearly event, so it only happens every other year, right? And it only happens on even years. So it would have been this year. We would have been in Pasadena, California.
Oh,
no.
Dang, man. So you have to wait 2 more years, but in 2 years
they're gonna do it. They're supposed to do it next year. They're gonna make it go into odd year now, but that's if hopefully 2021 will be normal and it won't be a crazy year like 2020 was.
Gosh, the future is scary, man.
So, yeah, right. The future is scary. So like, Stanley? I don't know if you can go into this, but like, without conventions, how has Toy Arena been doing?
I guess this is gonna be like the interesting side. I don't really talk about this to a lot of other people, so this is the first time I guess I could be kind of on record. We've been doing pretty well.
Hold on. So are you sure you want to be on record for this?
I'll go on record for this one.
Okay.
I think as a business, actually, COVID was kind of a good thing in a sense. It's a really weird way to say.
Okay.
A lot of online businesses actually flourished during this time because everybody was buying online. And for us, we've definitely seen a huge increase online, and I'm very happy to see that. Obviously, I won't go into numbers, of course, because that's obviously I can't talk about that.
No,
but I can say for sure, like, I have never seen such an increase, especially with Gundam stuff, because people had nothing to do at home. This hobby exploded, and
that is true.
I am honestly still boggled at like, wow, people really want this stuff right now. And I think depending on the business you're in, I think for toys it's kind of a weird thing. There's always going to be a market for toys, but for other things, like just randomly out there, like maybe like jewelry and stuff, they're definitely in hard times, and I feel very, very like bad and upset for them because they're a business too. They're trying to make money, but you can't do it in this climate right now.
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to say that people still want to get this stuff because they want to have fun. They want to have something bright in this dark time.
Yeah, like I have been building more this year than I have probably in the past 4 years. Like Steven and Brian can attest. Like on my Instagram, I post a new Gundam build like every weekend, or at least every other weekend, because I'm building so much now. I'm like my backlog is actually getting smaller every week, and I'm like, that's not normal. Usually it's supposed to get bigger every week.
No, definitely.
Because you just finished your wing line.
I have to get Epion done, and then my wing line will be done.
The project for this week.
Okay.
Pretty much. This week is gonna be working on Epion.
No, I can say definitely conventions were like a big thing for us because people would get to see us in person, and it's kind of nice to interact with the people. I can say on the side, some people don't like me, but you're always gonna get some people that don't like you or on the side.
There's always an a-hole out there, anyways.
I mean, I don't want to go more, but yeah, you get what I'm saying. But I think right now it's a great time to be a Gundam fan, like getting into it because of everything going on.
Yeah.
Um, I think even with having a hobby like this, it brings a lot of more people like getting out instead of doing like, like drugs and stuff or like,
Oh, yeah.
all
That,
the yeah, that's a big thing, but
that's what
it's
I've
a
always
different kind of
said.
drug.
Like I always tell my mom, I'm like, "Aren't you happy I'm into nerd stuff and not drugs?" She goes, "Every day."
I mean, yeah, there's that. But I can definitely say not doing conventions, not going and seeing the crowds of people has been very strange for me. And I'm so
Mm.
used to being
Yeah.
surrounded by a lot of people, even at Frankenstein's where I still do work there. I still have to go there in another 12 hours, I
I
think.
say you're going to go there tomorrow, probably, huh?
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And I still see people I recognize, but a lot of people that I used to see I don't see anymore because obviously everything going on, and it's
Yeah.
very strange for me because I'm used to seeing like, hey, this person always comes by on this day. I don't see them anymore. It's a very, very strange thing to see, but I mean, I'd rather everyone be safe instead of like coming out being like, hey, I want to come out just to say hi and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you should be safe and stuff. I appreciate you coming to say hi, but please be
Right.
safe. I mean, that's the important
Exactly.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we'll probably wrap up this podcast in a little bit, but in the meantime, Stanley, would you like to tell us a little bit more about, policies and stuff that's going on in Frankenstein's? Because I know a lot of people that might be viewing this probably are in the camp of they're not really sure if they should even go to Frankenstein's, or like,
Me.
do you have safety procedures in place, or was it kind of like to actually be in the facility or the warehouse? Do they have like maybe hand sanitizer available?
Yeah.
And
Is
if,
there like a queue line? Because like I don't know, Steven and Brian, you guys have been to Frank since COVID, right?
yes, we
Yeah.
have.
I
Yeah.
haven't been yet, so like I'm used to Frank's being almost like a mini convention. Like you're packed in there. There's people like shoulder to shoulder. Like, and I know they moved to a much bigger location, but yeah, what is like is there like a 6 foot rule? Is there
So
queue lines? Like what's going on?
so I'll say this very lightly because I don't want to get in trouble, obviously. There is a line to get into the building, and they do
Yes.
say you're supposed to be 6 feet apart. We do our best in the building to obviously say, hey, make sure you're spread apart, make sure you keep your masks on. They do have sanitizer stations at like every intersection in the building, so you can get hand sanitizer. They shut down the food court so people can't buy food. There
Oh,
is a
okay.
snack. They can still buy like drinks and food there, and they can drink, but we always tell them if you're gonna do it quick and then put it back on. Make sure your nose is covered. Unfortunately, with how some people are, they are kind of you know what's the right word to say?
The
They're
rules don't
unwilling.
apply to
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
yeah. And honestly, like I had a few times where I told them, hey, I can't have you in here if you're gonna be like this, and they kind of threw a fit, and I had to call security. And
Oh, really?
Wow.
I don't
Okay.
I don't personally feel good about it because I mean I want you guys to enjoy still be able to enjoy some form of normalcy still,
Yeah.
but at least be courteous enough. Like 5 minutes, keep your mask on. If you want to take it off, go outside, go to your car. You
Yeah.
can do it there, but like when there's a lot of people, there's a lot of things going on. It's you should follow the rules, and the rules are the reason why society exists. If we didn't have it, we'll probably all have it right now. Unfortunately, we
Yeah.
say. Obviously, I don't want to attest to any of that, of course. But they do their best. They do limit people coming in. They're pretty good of getting people in and out.
Okay.
There are days where it does seem a little bit longer, especially I feel like Saturdays is the hard days to go to because most people are so used to Saturdays. Sundays are open now, which I actually find a lot of
Oh.
people enjoy going now because it's a little bit easier to get in, not as many people. So I think a lot of people are enjoying the Sundays right now.
Because I
So it's
remember.
Sundays. What time?
Sundays are from 10 to 5, so it's
Oh, okay.
1 hour shorter.
No. Because I'm used to Frank's. It was only Saturdays and Wednesdays, right?
Yeah, it still has Saturday, Wednesdays, but they are doing Sundays now.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
What time are they open on Wednesdays? Stanley?
Wednesdays start at 3 and we close at 9. So
Oh,
normally,
okay.
normally what
Another
I
day.
see is that like between 3 to 6, it seems to be a little bit slower period, so people can come in easily and like look around and stuff. Between I would say like 6 to 8 is kind of busy, like more people, not like crazy, and then like the last hour is normally like mellows out.
I wonder if the 6 to 8 is because like people are getting off work and stuff around that time.
Yeah, definitely that's a big factor. It really depends though. I mean, there's days
Okay.
where I just see like the full day just packed and I'm just like, well, nothing I can do.
So for
work here.
people who are maybe a little bit concerned about going to Frankenstein's, do you guys have an online website then? You mentioned online sales.
Yes,
earlier.
our website, which is toyrain.com, we do offer flat rate shipping no matter how much it is. I think it's $7 flat rate. So you can order like $350, a big box of stuff. It's only $70 to ship to your place.
Oh, yeah, that's a good deal.
Look at that, Dustin. You can buy all of your core Gundams.
The course.
Don't tempt me, Steven.
And Brian, you can buy all
we
your
have most of them right now. I heard it's
Oh,
time.
jeez. Ah.
I need the core Gundams. I need the weapon packs. I need to get the re-rise suits.
Oh man, that's a lot of them.
So Stanley, how up to date is your website? Would you say it's pretty up to date with your inventory of what's currently available at your
We
at your
keep it
shop?
we keep it as up to date as possible. Obviously, there might be a little thing here and there because there's always so much inventory coming in and out that it's pretty much impossible to have a perfect inventory. But we do our best to make sure it's up to date. All new products always goes on our website. Occasionally, though, some items obviously we get shorted, and we want to offer to our local customers first since they're always there supporting us. Obviously, nothing wrong against the online customers. But our local customers always are like our number one priority since they're always there. We see them in person. We want them to be happy. Online on our website is always our next choice. And then obviously other channels such as like, let's just say, for example, like Amazon and stuff. Those are always like towards the end because I don't like Amazon. I hate it. I'm not off record, but I don't like Amazon personally for myriad of reasons, but I won't go into detail about that. But
No
yeah,
worries.
yeah,
So-
I always enjoy the local talk. We can always geek out and stuff. And it's something that I feel like that I can't do online, and I truly enjoy that experience.
So yeah, I'm looking on Toyota right now. Yeah, their site is very easy to manage. I mean, everything has tabs, and there's even subsections for the Gunpla, especially. So,
I'm like revamping all of the ads and stuff on there. I want to get everything like crisp and clean, and you just be like, everything's here. Just go right there.
Although I don't see re-rise on here. What's going on with that, man?
Whoa. I know it's on there.
I'm gonna call out right now. Sorry. So I'm in Gundam 144 scale model kits, right? Click on high grade, right? I see build fighters, build custom, and then build divers. I don't see re-rise on here.
I'll address that on Monday.
Yeah, I'm sure Stanley will take care of that.
Stanley,
But-
take care of it, man.
But we're almost out of time, so thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Thank you, Dustin. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Stanley, for being a part of this podcast, for this 4-parter podcast this week. I hope everyone enjoyed, and we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
All right? Bye.
Later.